Okay, today's lesson, circles and arcs. Circles and arcs. So first thing we're going to do is draw a circle here. And we're going to put the center at P.
We have to use a compass?
You do not have to use a compass, no. If you don't like your circles, do the best circle that you can get out. Center at P. Now, the way we name the circle is like this. That means a circle with center at P. Okay, so when you see this notation, circle with the center at P. Okay? Okay, so what did I just say? Center is at P. All right, now I am going to draw a line through my center going to the ends of my circle. I'm going to call this A and that B. And we have a special name for that line. What do we call that line that goes from one end to the other and goes to the center? Diameter. Good job. Now it does have to go through the center. Diameter is AB. Endpoints on your circle and it goes through the center. All right. What do we call half of that? PB. Radius. Do we have another name for it? What could I call instead of PB? PA. Now I'm going to put another point in there. I'm going to put a point right here, C. Now if I connect this here, could I say PC is also a radius? Yes or no? Yes? Goes from the center to a point on your circle is the radius. Center to a point on your circle. Okay. All right, so we are going to talk about more definitions. Dealing with central angle is where we're going to start right now. Did you guys talk about central angles in last year's math class?
No.
No? Central angles. Okay, it is obviously an angle with the vertex at the center of the circle. An angle with the vertex at the center of the circle. Okay, so there's multiple ones in here. I'm going to refer to this one right here. This right here is a central angle. It's an angle with the vertex at the center of the circle. Can I get a volunteer to name this angle for me? 3 letters to name this angle right here.
BPC.
Say a letter.
BPC.
B. P. C. Can anybody name it another way? CPB. Do you guys see that? Yes? Let's name another one. One more. Let's label this one right here. Anybody give me the 3 letters for this one here? Louder? Oh, no, hand up, please, whoever it's coming from. Yes.
APB.
A P
C.
C C All right, I'm going to stop there because we could flip that one around as well, but I'm going to stop there. Any questions on what a central angle is? Another. Thank you. All right, next piece is semicircle.
Is that the arc?
We'll deal with the arc in a little bit. What is, but yes, it has to do with arc. What is a semicircle?
Half a circle.
Half a circle. Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to write down. Half of a circle. All right, and we label it with an arc symbol, and I label it with 3 letters just like I would an angle. So I label it like this: A, C, B, with the arc mark on the top. Okay, that means half circle. When I trace AC to B, it's this half circle on the bottom here. Okay, ACB means you trace along from ACB. Which half circle do you end up tracing? The bottom half or the top half? Bottom. Why do I need 3? Why couldn't I just call it AB? Anybody know? Why I can't just use AB? Yes. It's not a full, but if I put this mark here and I go from AB, is that half of it? It is half, but we don't know whether it is top half or bottom half. So you can't just use 2 letters. And you're right, because it's not completely describing your half circle, top half or bottom half. So if I wanted to label the top half, would I need another letter in there? Yes, I'm going to put one in here. I'm going to call it D. As long as you label another point in there, you're okay. All right, so how would I label the top half? I'm going to put the arc. I'm going to start with A. What would come next? D, A, D, what?
B.
B. Arc, A, D, B. Again, you need 3 letters. Your start and your end should be through the diameter. AB, you can see that here, and AB. All right. Minor arc. Is an arc less than 180 degrees. Two letters is enough. I mean, sometimes you'll see the textbook use 3 letters, but 2 letters is all you need for a minor arc. So let's write that down. 2 letters. And let's label this arc right here. What 2 letters would I use?
BC.
BC, with what marking at the top? A line or an arc? Arc. That's telling us arc BC. Do you agree that that's less? 180 is a half a circle. Do you agree that that's less than 180? This angle in here is less than 180. Yes or no? All right. Can you guys give me the name for this arc over here on this side? AC. With the line mark or an arc mark? Arc mark. Okay. Okay. Semicircle, minor arc. What's the last one? Or not last one, but last of the arcs. Major arc. What about which one? Major arc is an arc that is what? More than. Good job. An arc that is greater than 180 degrees. How many letters do you think I need to use here?
3, 4.
I have to use 3 letters. I do have to use 3 letters, and I'll explain why. Let's write that down. 3 letters. Now, if I am talking about, let's say I want to talk about this big arc right here. Can everybody see that? This big one right here. If I want to talk about that arc, and I start at C and I end at B, but I just call it CB, am I talking about the major arc? No. If I call it CB, what am I talking about? That little one here, and that's not the one I'm trying to get at. Do you see why I need 3 letters for the major arc? Okay, so I am going to start with C, and I am going to end with B, and I need a letter in between. It doesn't matter which letter you use, pick one. It could be C-A-B or C-D-B, as long as you use 3. All right, so pick it. What do you want to use? C, D, B. CDB means you trace your circle from C to D to B, and you're tracing this bigger arc here that is your major arc. Yes? Okay, what if I wanted this one up here? I'm starting at A and ending at what? This one up here. Starting at A and ending at,
C.
can I call it AC?
No.
No, because that's this little one here. So A,
BC.
BC, what else could I call it? A,
DC.
DC. Your choice. A, B, C is what I heard first. All right, so do you guys understand the difference between a major arc and a minor arc, and how to label it and how to read it? All right, let's talk about arc measure, which I should have done before all of this, but we're going to do it now. Arc measure. Now you want to understand arc measure, because in our next unit we're going to talk about arc length. And often kids get those confused. Arc length, arc measure. 2 different things. What are we dealing with right now? Arc measure. Okay. What we should know about arc lengths is that, or arc measure, sorry, that arcs an arc measure will always be equal to its corresponding central angle. Corresponding central angle. What the heck does that mean? I'll explain. Let's write it down. An arc measure will always be equal to its corresponding central angle. Are we ready? Okay, so let's come up here and label some of them. Arc, let's talk about this one, the one I had in red. I'm going to put an angle measure in here. Let's say that this is 92 degrees. Angle BPC is 92 degrees. If angle BPC is 92 degrees, what's the measure of arc BC? (92 degrees). Okay, the measure of arc BC is 92 degrees. They will always be equal. Arcs and their corresponding angles. Do you see why this is a corresponding angle? Because it's these 2 lines that make the 92 degrees is what makes the arc. Do you see that? Anybody tell me what the measure of arc ADB is? Looking at your picture, trace ADB. Can anybody first give me the name that we called this earlier? It is it's a semi, because it's half of the circle. Do you guys agree? And what's all the way around a circle? How many degrees all the way around? 360. So if it's a semi, what's the measure of this line, this angle right here? What's the measure then of the arc? 180. Why? Because arc measures will always is always equal to its corresponding central angle. Any questions? All right, we're going to do a few quick examples, and then I'm going to get you started on your work. We're good? All right, number 1. Draw your circle. Okay. Put the center here. I'm going to call this B and that E. That's C, and that F, and that is D. And after you write all that down, I'm going to give you some measures, and we'll call the center here A. So this is circle A. All right, everybody have the picture? I'm going to tell you that these two are equal. And that this angle in here is 130 degrees. All right, what can we find? Anyone? Let's start with this angle. How can I find this angle, angle EAF? Anybody? I'm going to cover this. What do we know about about these two angles together? They're linear pairs. So if this is 130, how do I find EAF? Okay, so 180 minus 130. Can you guys find that? 50. So this is 50 degrees. What else is 50 degrees? The one across, the what did you call it? BAC. They're called vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. Do we agree with that? All right. Any suggestions, and there's more than one right answer on how to find these two angles across the way? Okay, he said you do 180 minus 50, whatever that number is, you divide by 2 because they're equal. That is correct. Anyone else? Yes?
Can't you do what's half of 130?
Can we do half of 130 because these are vertical? This whole thing here is vertical with 130 and cut in half. Anybody see it that way? Yes and yes. You do it the way that works best for you. I want you doing it now. Cutting the 130 in half, or subtracting 180 minus 50 and then cutting that in half. Go. I want you doing it now. What is that? 65. All right, are we ready? Okay. Find each indicated measure for circle A. Letter A. The measure of arc BC. All right, where's BC? And it's only 2 letters, so is that a major arc or the minor arc? And that's this arc right here. What do we know about the arcs? It's equal to the corresponding angle. So what is the measure of BC? 50 degrees. Got it? Part B, BCE. 3 letters. It's either a semicircle or a major. It's definitely not a minor, or it shouldn't be a minor, because we typically don't use 3 letters. And let me put my little M there. BCE. Trace BCE. Did you guys trace it? What do we end up, what am I tracing right here with the BCE? Somebody said it. Am I tracing the semicircle? Without doing any work, what should I know that these 3 angles together make? 180. You can test it if you're not sure. 65 plus 65 plus 50 is 180. So what is the measure of arc BCE? 180. Letter C. Arc BCF. The measure of arc BCF. Can everybody see where BCF is? Now, I used BCF. Could I have used BDF or BEF? Yes or no? Am I talking about this little minor arc or the major arc at the top? If I'm using 3 letters, which one am I talking about? The major. I'm going to have you guys find that now. Anybody have it? 230. Who gave me that answer? Can you tell me how you found it?
I added up 50, 65, 65, and 50.
Okay, so here you did all this, and you did 50 plus 65 plus 65 plus 50. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Anybody do it that same way? And get the same answer? Did anybody do it a different way? Yes? What did you subtract from 360? 360 take away 130. If 130 is the only piece we're not using and we know the complete circle's 360, is that another option? Yes or no? Check it. 360 take away the 130, will we still end up with 230? Yes? Does it matter which method you use? No. If you did the 50 plus 65 plus 65 plus 50, there's nothing wrong with it. I just want to make sure you understand there's multiple ways. Letter D. The measure of angle DAF. Trace the angle DAF. Do you guys see which angle we are tracing? D to A to F. Do you see that it's this big angle here? Is it 50? 65, or do I add the 2 together? Okay, so we're going to add 50 plus 65 or 65 plus 50. It does not matter, but do you see why we're adding those 2 together? What does it come out to be? 115 degrees. Any questions?